Well, you guys, I'm very impressed with your singing. I can tell who went to church. It wasn't me, that's for sure. But now that I know what to expect, I can start writing my list for next year. So my name is Pam Winholtz. I am the founder of Dare to Dream Bigger Coaching and Consulting. So one of the most frequent questions I get asked, who's in charge of time so I don't go over? Can you just kind of give me a countdown? Okay, thanks. Because I was practicing, I went over. So what is a life coach anyway? That's usually how people say it. What is it anyway? So a life coach helps people take the skills they've learned to make them successful to where they are now in life and helps get them to the point where they want to go, the future. It helps people create a new mindset to help them reach their goals. Let's think about, who do we know that's life coaches? Anyone heard of Abraham Hicks?
Yes, I saw her.
Okay.
I went to Atlanta two months ago and so. Wow.
That's a life coach. How about Brene Brown?
Yeah.
Anybody heard of her? How about one of the most famous ones, Tony Robbins? Lisa Nichols, Dr. Phil, he's a psychologist, but he uses a lot of coaching techniques as well. So lots of people have heard of them, but you may not have experienced one yourself. So another question I get is, what's the difference between coaching and therapy? So a therapist helps you go back to something that happened in life, something in your history, and take a look at it and figure out what happened. Or go back through our life as we knew it when we grew up in the family that we were placed in and grew up in, and we come out as adults and we look around and go, what just happened? And we spend the rest of our lives making sense of all these things that we were taught, often that are black and white, this is the way it is, and then as we grow we discover really most things aren't black and white, it's mostly gray, and there are extremes that are black and white. Some of us it takes longer to learn that than others. So a therapist helps someone get from dysfunctional to functional. And a coach helps someone get from functional to optimal, to get where you guys want to go. A coach helps you figure out the answers. A coach asks empowering questions, oftentimes that start with who, what, where, when, why. So you can come up with the answers. They're very powerful because nobody knows what's going on in your life with all the moving pieces except you. No one grew up with you. And so we help just by asking questions so you can figure out the answers with guidance. Who uses life coaches? Lots of people. So we talked about some of the life coaches. Here's some other names you may know. Anyone heard of Serena Williams? Yeah. She's a great tennis player. She has other coaches, but she also is a life coach. How about Leonardo DiCaprio? You think he has it all together. He's a great actor. He has a life coach. How about, does anyone remember Danny Bonaducci? Yeah. He was in a lot of trouble for many years. Drugs, homelessness, he was in trouble with the law. He's the redheaded kid from Partridge Family. He got himself a life coach. He's got himself together. He actually is a life coach now. And you don't read about him in the paper doing anything bad. How about Bill Clinton? Did you know when Bill Clinton was the president, he used a life coach? He was using Tony Robbins. But no matter how successful we are, or not, depending on how you see it. I don't even know where that came from in the peanut gallery, but somebody. But he needed someone to help him plan, strategize, and execute. So, me, I use a life coach. As a matter of fact, I change life coaches about every 3 to 4 months because everybody can teach me something different. I might have to hire one to help me sing and to write that. So what do you look for? If you decide you want a life coach, what do you look for? So in the United States, life coaching is not regulated, which means anybody can be a life coach. Anyone can hang up a shingle and say, I am now a life coach. So ask questions. Ask them where they got their training. Because some people may not have any training, and some people may have years of training. You can get master's degrees in this. For me personally, I went to the Institute of Professionalism and Excellence in Coaching. It's called IPEC. It's one of the top schools around. You can tell when you ask someone, where did you get your training, if they start stammering, I just finished my certificate program and it'll be coming, I'm waiting for it in the mail. That's what someone told me a few weeks ago. She's the wife of a dentist. So now she believes she can coach dentists. And maybe she can. For me at IPEC, I have 90 hours of in-person hands-on training, hundreds of pages of workbooks, and a rigorous oral exam in order to be certified. So if you ask someone where they got their training or are they certified, it's a good indicator of what they've done to learn how to help other people. What topics do I coach on? Well, typically, they're called Gales. They're called gremlins. Has anyone had that little voice inside that says, who do you think you are? You can't do that. Oh, like maybe if they're going to sing? I have a little gremlin. I think we all do. I also coach a lot about assumptions, things that we learned. We assume that's the way they are, but when we really look at it, maybe it's not. Maybe my gremlin says, why are you going to go sing? Everyone's going to laugh at you. I'm assuming they're going to laugh at me. But people laughed, but they weren't laughing at me, they were laughing with me. Interpretations. Have you ever met someone that says, well, they couldn't come because they had something better to do or something more important? That's their interpretation. Maybe it's true, but maybe it's not. Maybe they were just busy. And limiting thoughts. Have you ever had a thought, I could never do that? How many people think they could just take off for a year and travel around the world? I could never do that. Guess what? Yes, you can, if you want it bad enough. I'm proof. I also help, and this is my favorite, communication. Communication. I help people change verbiage. Have you ever noticed sometimes another person can join a group and everyone is lifted and they feel great and they just feel better about themselves? Or another time you might have someone come in and they drain you. They drain the whole group. Everyone can't wait for them to go, oh, what a wet rag. You can change that just by changing some of the words we use. I help people learn how to tell a story. I help people learn different perspectives. Changing the mindset. Changing your leadership style. So I'm a master practitioner of the Energy Leadership Index, which shows 7 different leadership styles that we all use on a day-to-day basis. Anything from being a victim, to a fighter, to a rationalizer, to a creator, a visionary, and an opportunist. They're all different ways of leading. And typically, we lead in one way when things are going well, things are going the way we expect them to go, we're not under stress. But we lead in a different style when we're under stress. Has anyone had a great day and they're just a wonderful person, and then your kid does something that drives you crazy and you just want to scream at them, or worse? We can change that. We can change that. We can lead from a different style. If yelling at them doesn't get what we want, anyone have a teenager who likes to argue? Yeah, mine became a lawyer. She loves to argue. Schoolwork, oh my gosh. Well, if we can change the way we speak to them, we can change the way they speak to us. We can change the way the whole conversation's going, potentially even averting an argument. So, by helping people with better communication, it affects all areas of your life. It can affect work. Who do you deal with? How do you get other people to do what you want them to do? It affects our home. How do we get our kids to do what we want them to do? Get that homework done? Our spouses, how do we get them to do the dishes without asking them for the millionth time? This creates better, better personal relationships. And in the workplace, it can create better loyalty as well. How many people know that people are not loyal to a company? They're not. Companies aren't loyal to people either. But people are loyal to other people. So if you're at work and you get people to be loyal to you, they're not going to leave. People don't leave because of money. They leave for 5 other reasons, which is a whole different talk. So we've talked about how you can use a life coach. It can help you in business and it can help you personally. Business, some people hire me to improve employee engagement, customer service. How do you keep your employees happy if there's nowhere to move up? If you're in a small business, How do you keep people happy? How do you keep them so they don't go to another company? I can help you with that. If you have a good right-hand person, how do you keep that right-hand person? Because if that person leaves, not only do you have to go find another person, now you got to train them. So, how does it work? We can set up anything from a one-time, 2-hour seminar to a monthly meeting to even a 2-day seminar, workshop. Or I work with people one-on-one. Pam Winholtz, Dare to Dream Bigger, Coaching and Consulting. Oh, I'm sorry. I almost decapitated you.
It's 1:32.
I'll throw this out to you. I know that we did a little